Hello everybody and welcome to Steelbook Obsessed. My name is Jake and as you can see behind me, it's my beautiful boutique wall. One boutique label that is getting a lot of spotlight shined upon it, usually is shined upon it in July and in November, the Criterion collection. It's the first boutique label I ever collected for and I have a good amount of movies for it. So I thought it would be fun to showcase every single movie in my Criterion collection. I'm going to show off every nook and cranny to every single one of these releases. So maybe if you're on the fence when you're shopping these sales, you can look and see, oh, this is what the packaging looks like. I might pick this up. If you like that type of content, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you want to see more boutique labels looking like this, looking over every nook and cranny, also let me know. But let's waste no more time and start looking at some Criterion, baby. Let's start with the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. Gotta say, I absolutely love the packaging on this Hard Day's Night box set here. It has a whole bunch of goodies in it. Here's the back of it for you, all black and white. I love this movie, by the way. Let's take a look on the inside. I took the innards out just to show you what the inside of the slipcover looks like, because they put a lot of love and care even on the inside. You barely see this, but man, it was a surprise when you pull it out. I love these nice little added touches. Here is A Hard Day's Night, the inside artwork on the front and back cover. And then we flip it over here. And boom! You get 2 DVDs, 1 Blu-ray, and I don't know if I can take this off. Let's see. Click it. There we go. That was a disaster. But that's what the inside of that looks like. It also comes with an 80-page booklet, folks. All about the making of the movie, a nice little photos from the movie. Again, if you like reading about your movies, Criterion has got you covered. Next up, we have a movie that I just picked up during this Criterion sale, the Before Trilogy. I'm excited to open this sucker. This is gonna be a blind unboxing for me. Let's see what this guy looks like on the inside. Alrighty, we have this bad boy open, and the first thing I gotta say is the texture on this is fantastic. Kind of like a very fancy, slick cardboard. I'm liking it, but I kind of want to see what these slips look like. Ooh, these are like storybook looking almost. I love these. Here's Before Sunrise. I've wanted to watch this trilogy for the longest time, and I just haven't been able to. I've been wanting to pick this sucker up from the Criterion sale for the longest time as well. The price point is what really got to me. I'd rather pick up 2 or 3 other movies than just one set, but this set looked so nice that I had to finally pick it up. Here's Before Sunset. I am in love with this cover art inside of all of these slips. Oh God, the disc. Okay, pop the disc back in there. That's what this one looks like. Oh, these are just sleek and subtle. They have a lot of class. Before Midnight. I like Richard Linklater's work. I like Ethan Hawke a lot. I'm so happy that I can finally watch these movies. I cannot wait to pop them in. Wow, that set was even nicer than I thought it was going to be. I'm happy to put this in the collection.
Well, future Jake here. I have been shooting this video probably for a year. I started shooting it like last June to put out for the last Criterion sale. Never made it. Since I recorded opening up the Before Trilogy, I've watched the Before Trilogy. One of my favorite things to do with Criterion movies is blind buy them, pop them in, and boy howdy, the Before Trilogy was so good. Here's a letterbox, and here's a letterbox, and here's another letterbox of every single entry in the Before Trilogy. If you have not seen this movie, I recommend this series to just about anybody, and yes, the packaging is great. The supplemental material on here is phenomenal. Highest of recommendations with this. If you are looking to blind buy another Criterion, you can't do any, I would say you can't do any better than the Before Trilogy. And I'm not even like a romance fan. I'm a fan of romance, just not romantic movies. But this one, just to see the evolution of a relationship, it's so fascinating. Highly recommend. But now, let's get back to my collection. Let's show them off. Here we go.
Next up, we have Wes Anderson's directorial debut with Bottle Rocket. You'll see in my collection, I own a lot of Wes Anderson movies on Criterion just because I love the packaging. It just kind of gives his movies a nice upscaled look. The slip artwork is pretty dang similar. Here's what Bottle Rocket looks like unwrapped from the slip. A nice, sleek picture. Here's what the inside looks like. And again, all of these Wes Anderson releases have very similar artwork, and they have a lot of love and care put into them. I like the booklet in this one too. It's just a notebook that actually looks like a 3-ring binder notebook. And yeah, just looks like it's hand drawn in there too. Nice touch. Next up, we have another Richard Linklater. Here is Dazed and Confused. And yeah, this is one of my favorites in the Criterion collection. If you're looking to pick up something, even as a blind buy, this would be one of my choices for you if you haven't seen it. This movie is fantastic. The artwork on this thing is simply stunning. But again, let's go dig in the inside. Well, I took the inside out, as you can see, but I just wanted to show you that there's also different artwork when you pull it out. Oh my God, Criterion, you're outdoing yourself here. I love it. But now here's what the inside of the contents look like. Here's the front and back cover of this. Just simply stunning stuff here. Here's the rest of the inside of the packaging. Fun fact, if you undo the disc here, that's where they're hiding all their seeds and stems, if you know what I'm saying. This release also comes with another booklet that looks like a 3-ring binder notebook, and this one is packed with a whole bunch of cool goodies as well, almost kind of looking like a yearbook. It'll take a lot for me to actually read a booklet that comes in any movie, but if you put a lot of love and care into it, I'll definitely give it a thumb through. But they also came with a poster. Let's look at that now. I like how the Arrow Videos and Scream Factories of the world come with posters with their releases too, but it's just the same artwork that they always do. This is totally different than any of the other artwork that's on the Criterion release. I don't even know if I can show you all of it. It's so big, but there. Cool looking poster. Next, going to another Wes Anderson movie, one of my favorites of his, Fantastic Mr. Fox. This is a nice release of his movie. I like this movie quite a bit. Pretty simplistic packaging on this one, but you know, the artwork is stunning, just like it is in the movie. The front and back of the case makes one large image of what the farm town looks like. Pretty basic, but I think gets the job done for me. Flipping it over. The inside, I wish there was more to it. It's a nice little design of the acorns and everything. The disc art is what it is. Kind of plain Jane, but goes with the artwork of the movie. And then this release comes with a 32-page booklet. Again, nothing crazy here, but it's always nice to see a little bit of extras. I like this comic. Never mind, I take everything back. Good stuff here. Sticking with Wes Anderson, here is his release of the Grand Budapest Hotel. It's got the same similar artwork that Bottle Rocket had. Again, I just like how Criterion release all of Wes Anderson movies. It gives that quirky charm that his movies have the attention it deserves. Here is what the front and back cover look like here. Nice image. Flip it over and we get more of that like interior wallpaper design that Fantastic Mr. Fox had. Disc artwork is nice and basic here too. This release comes with 3 different pieces of extra material, physical material, some of my favorite stuff. Let's take a look at each one. The first one is a very long fold-out book, Romantic Poetry Volume 1. I don't know how I'm going to show this, but I'll kind of just let it unravel here. You can see how freaking long it is, but it comes with some newspaper snippets and it's double-sided. I cannot show this one off super well, so sorry about that, but this is one piece that you could probably look at for half an hour and still have more to look at. The booklet in this release comes with 37 pages jam-packed with all the information you could ever want from the Grand Budapest Hotel. This movie, I think I need to rewatch it again. The first time I watched it, I was whelmed. I thought it was pretty mid-tier Wes Anderson, but I've heard some people absolutely love this movie, so I'll give it a second shot here whenever I decide to actually pop it in. And then remember what I said about the Dazed and Confused poster and how it actually used different poster artwork? Well, Grand Budapest just gives you a giant picture of what is on the physical release that you already own on your shelf. It is double-sided, which is nice, but I wish it would just give me different imagery. I already have the beautiful artwork on the physical release. I don't need poster artwork of it too. I don't get that choice. One thing to look out for with some of these Criterion releases, when they have extras like this, they don't give you a good spot to actually put it in here. The thing you have to do is just throw it in and pray for the best. There are some releases like that Bottle Rocket that give you a nice folder right here to put your stuff in, but not the case with this release. You just kind of close it and put it in the slipcover and kind of forget about it, but that's kind of sloppy. Even if I just let off a little bit of the pressure, it just falls out. When I was in junior high, I really wanted to watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, so I bought a ticket to Rat Race instead to watch that movie. I have seen Rat Race, and I know that it is pretty much a takeoff of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. I've wanted to watch this movie for the longest time. I found this at a pawn shop for $5. That's why I picked it up. But this cover artwork, I love the illustration artwork that's on here. On the front and back, we have even more of that fantastic artwork that we saw on the slip, and this thing just keeps on going and going and folding out and folding out. This thing is massive, and wait until I show you the inside. There's so much content here. There's 2 Blu-rays, 3 DVDs, 5 discs in this crazy thing. I mean, look at this. They each have their own little sleeve. I wish it wasn't paper. It's all right on the Blu-rays, but the DVDs will probably get scratched up. But there are so many different iterations of this movie. I think there's the regular from a 4K scan and the extended version, which is 197 minutes. Just so much is beefed into this release. You're definitely getting your money's worth on this one. Here's some more of that original artwork on the booklet, front and back. This one's not as thick, but that's all right with me. And it also comes with a fold-out map, which is kind of neat, of just kind of where the pit stops they have in this movie. Nice touch there. The next one we have to show is Malcolm X. I bought this recently on the last Criterion sale. Still haven't watched it. That is definitely a vibe with me in Criterion releases. I buy a lot of them. I need to watch them, and at one of these points I will, and it's just nice to kind of have nice releases in the collection. Love that striking X combo with the American flag. That looks very, very nice. Over here you got some Denzel. Open this sucker up. We'll take a look at the discs first. Just a lot of like airwave signal signs here. Here's what the inside looks like without the discs. And here is a shot of the booklet, front and back. And thumbing, I guess I'll get a little bit more than that. Here we go. Thumbing through a little bit of what the book has to offer. I love Noah Baumbach as a director, and I absolutely love Marriage Story. This is one of my favorite movies the year it came out. I think it actually might have been my favorite when I saw all of them that year. I love owning physical releases from streaming movie services. Here's one for Netflix. Let's dig inside and show you why I like this release so much. The inside gives you 3 parts of a family. 3 parts, they each have their own story. I like how they're separated out onto their own panels. Artfully done here. But if we flip it over, the reason why I love this release so much is because it actually comes with a replica note of what they wrote to each other. Absolutely love that in this release. So well done. One thing I will say though, if you have information like this that you're gonna put into a release, put it in book form, not this fold out pamphlet garbage. It's so tough to actually go and read it. Actually, for me to show it on camera too, it's kind of a pain. There's a lot of good information here. There's not a lot. There's probably 18 pages altogether. Wish it was in a book. You thought I was done with Wes Anderson? Well, you got another thing coming. I got a few more left. One of my top 3 Anderson movies here, Moonrise Kingdom. And this sucker, I think this is an elegant picture. You wouldn't even tell what the movie is if you just stare at it. You had to kind of zoom in there to see Moonrise Kingdom. I like this release a lot. On the front and back cover, we have pictures of what the pamphlet probably showed from the summer camp they were going to in 1965. We flip it over. Thank God this release actually has a folder to keep all the extras because there are a ton here. I like the disc artwork too, but let's look at these extras. First off, it comes with a nice photo of the camp, all the counselors and the kids and everything. I like this a lot. Next, we have a pretty big two-sided map of where all the events take place in Moonrise Kingdom. Kind of cool to add this in there. And here's the booklet to look like a scouting guide book. And Marriage Story, take notes. This is a 20-page release, but they just make like the front and back cover of the book thicker than normal to give it more high quality. This is how a book with very little pages should be done. Nice. Here's the Criterion lease for Marlon Brando on the Waterfront. And I will be honest with you, I found this at a pawn shop for $5. I've heard nothing but good things about this movie. I have yet to watch On the Waterfront. It's got Brando boxing. I know I would love it. I just need to find time to actually watch it. On the front and back cover, we have one nice panning shot. Nothing too crazy, just on rooftops. Flip it around. I like the basic disc artwork here with a whole bunch of doves. And the booklet this time around, I love this image of Brando, but this is a 42-page booklet filled with a whole bunch of, you know, words and stuff. Books. Next title we have is Parasite. And I gotta say, the packaging for this, oh my goodness. Love the braille on the front. Love how you can see the classic poster image on the back. Spinning this around, here's a shot of all of the special features and everything that it has to offer. Love seeing neon in the Criterion collection as well. There's a spine where you pull things out, but now let's actually do that and kind of see the braille disappear. Boom, 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 boom. Let's lay this flat, kind of slip it out here. There we go. That was nice and elegant, was it not? Classic poster artwork right here. Spinning it over, you get a full big shot right there. Flip it over, get the booklet out of the way. This is what the discs look like, and then you just have an interior shot of their house. And then if we go to the booklet, you realize it's not a booklet, and it's another one of those dang old pamphlets. I am not the fan of the pamphlet style. Give me a book. You could still just give me a 13-page book and I would be a lot happier than spreading it out on a giant table like this. If you saw my last Criterion pickup video, you know that I just picked up Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio in glorious 4K. I think this release is an absolute stunner. Here's the spine, the back. Very much looking forward to digging into all of these special features. A new documentary, a new program featuring Del Toro. Again, a lot of Del Toro in the special features. Love to see that. I love how striking that purple is on this sucker too. A good contrast to the white on the majority of the slip. But let's slip this sucker out of its hidey hole and you get good old Pinocchio. But what is Pinocchio known for? That big old nose. That's just the cherry on top of this release. I think that looks so glorious. A true, a very awesome choice that Criterion decided to do that, because putting this on a release definitely was not cheap, but I think it stands out because of it. It's just purple on the inside. I wish there was a little bit more, but this nose definitely makes up for that factor. Here is the disc artwork with more Pinocchio, and the booklet right here has a lot of illustrations on how some of these characters were made to be. Sorry, that was a bad close-up. Here are some of the puppetry that was used in this stop motion animated classic. I'm calling it a classic. I think that there's enough difference in this Pinocchio to make it stand on its own from the Disney Pinocchio. I like this movie quite a bit, and I'm very happy to add it to the Criterion collection for me. This has to be one of my favorite Criterions that I own just because of the packaging it is in. Yes, of course, this is The Princess Bride, but the way that it feels, it is like a felt fairy tale storybook you would read to your children. Love how elegant this release is. Absolutely love it. And on the inside, if you flip it around, the book that's in here is actually a part of it. It's a digibook release. And yeah, it's, oh my God, it's so good. Just like a fairy tale in here. I love this release so much. The illustrations in here are awesome. Put a lot of love and care into this one. Next up, we got that crazy Cronenberg with scanners, and the artwork on this is absolutely insane. This is one of the first Criterions that I ended up picking up when I started collecting them, just because that artwork really grabbed me. Look at that thing. Oh, yeah, did I mention artwork? There's more goodness on the front and back cover of this thing. Look at it. I mean, look at the beauty of this. Oh my God, I'm in love with this. The artwork on here is the main selling factor for me. I can't reiterate that enough. We flip on the inside. Artwork kind of goes away. Just some, you know, crazy heartbeats that he's got. The booklet has more of that fantastic artwork hidden without it as well. Let's take a look at some of these. Boom. And boom, look at that goodness. Oh my God. Just, you know, a whole bunch of good stuff. Whatever. Bottle. Is there any more goodness in here? Maybe on the back. Meh. When certain movies come out during the Criterion sale, I feel like I just need to pick them up, and one of those releases for me was Thelma and Louise. Again, I've only seen this movie once, but that one viewing was so great that I knew I needed to have it in the collection just so I could rewatch it again and rewatch the sucker in 4K. Again, here's a nice shot of the special features for you. The packaging on here, I tell you what, this premium packaging, not just their normal cases, but everything that this release has to offer is super, super great. I love how minimalistic this artwork is on this release, but it just looks so great, does it not? I mean, look at that sucker. I love the way this release looks. Flipping it over here, nothing on the inside, just a lot of black and a lot of just Criterion C's in different colors. Nothing wrong with that for me. Doing bare bones, but at least the bare bones still looks pretty good. And then we have the shooting script for Thelma and Louise as the booklet that is included in this, along with a couple of essays and whatnot. Actually, there's nothing script-wise, just the front is the script. I got bamboozled, folks. One of my favorite releases in the Criterion collection is this stunner. Uncut Gems, or should I even attempt Uncut Gems? Uncut Gems? Look how pretty this Criterion is for Uncut Gems. I love the prism effect on every single ounce of this cover. It pops like no other. If we spin it around, that prism effect is on the spine, which is great. It is on the words on the back. Like, they just went out of their way to make this sucker absolutely pop. We talked about Neon with the Parasite release. Crazy to see A24 in the Criterion collection as well. I don't know if we will ever see it again, but Safdie Brothers, they also have a couple more Criterion releases in this sucker, so I'm glad that Uncut Gems is in this one as well. The awesomeness continues with the Furby, again, blinged out. Look at that. I love that. I love it so much. It just pops. It absolutely pops in every sense of the term. And on the inside, you get some prism effects on the inside. Did not need to do that, but it's nice for the gems of it all. And if you've seen this movie, you know this comes from like the first 5-10 minutes of the film. Just very cool to see different aspects of the movie portrayed this way. I'll keep this one up. I'll even keep this one up as we look at the booklet here, which again is just another reason why I love physical media. When you can make props from the movie kind of make sense in the as props in your release. Like, this is a pamphlet, what would you call this, a collection, a booklet that you would find in his jewelry shop. I guess, I don't know, a catalog, that's the word I'm looking for. And there are just so many nice touches in this booklet as well. I feel like there's an order guide to kind of resemble still the catalog from this. Just nice touches. Just looking at this, makes me want to rewatch this film. And at the end of the day, when your packaging can do that, it's 1000% a win. This next version, since I still have it sealed, I don't think I'm going to open it because I'm a little bit conflicted. It's David Cronenberg's Videodrome. Cronenberg is very hit or miss with me, but since I bought this, it's been in my collection for a very long time. They now have a 4K version with the exact same packaging. What do I do? Do I keep this in the collection and just think that Blu-ray is good enough, Blu-ray is okay? Or do I return this and try to get the 4K? I feel like I would like to get the 4K. I love having directors' short films as features, as bonus features on releases. Absolutely love that. Love seeing, I've never seen Camera, so that's another nice positive for this release. Again, I don't think I want to open this just yet, just for the fact that I might upgrade and get this on 4K. And last but not least, for the big chunky premium box sets, we have WallE. When this was released, I knew I was going to pick this up. Day one, I love the artwork on this so much. WallE is my favorite Pixar film. So when this got the Criterion Collection treatment, my jaw hit the floor. And remember when I just talked about having short films as special features? I think every single Andrew Stanton short film he's ever made is in here. Plus there's a documentary, The Pixar Story. I have seen that before. That is a very stellar documentary. Bonus movies with my movies is one of the best special features you can give me. But the packaging on this is just another reason why I love Criterion. This just screams elegance, even though you're looking at a pile of trash. Trash is art, and I love everything about this release. Oh gosh, let's see if I can open this. It's a little snug here. There we go. If we look at it, I'll put the book away. We get more trash, but I could look at this trash for a very long time. Love seeing the physical media discs on here as part of that artwork. Again, another nice touch. We pan it around. We get more buy-in low. I can't remember what the B&L stands for in this. It's their like version of Costco. Again, more trash mounds on the inside here. I don't think I need to take the discs out. You kind of can see what it consists of there. But at least they put something branded from the movie on the discs. And then we also have Trash Planet, which must have been the shooting script from the movie when they were kind of creating it. Love seeing the different types of illustrations, just trying to figure out how to make this idea turn into a reality in the film. Very, very cool stuff. This will be a book that I flip through quite often. Now that all the box sets are done, we are going to the standard releases. But in between the box sets and the standard releases, we have an oddity for me in the Criterion Collection. That is the Curious Case of Benjamin Button, because with this case, they just have this slip cover and it just sticks out like a sore thumb. But me being a David Fincher completionist, I'd like to have as many films from directors that I love in the collection as I possibly can. This was the standard release of this movie when it was new. So they kind of like went a medium route in it. Like having any Criterion movie in a blue Blu-ray case just looks wrong, does it not? Again, here are all the special features here. It would be interesting to see them re-release this on 4K, give it like the regular clear case treatment that I will showcase off in a lot of my releases here very, very shortly. But just that right there, the booklet is here, the DVD is hiding behind the booklet. And when I say booklet, I mean not much. It's a trifold. It's nothing crazy. The Man Who Watched the Hours Go By. I don't even know what this is about. This release just does not scream Criterion to me. This just screams standard release, unfortunately. I wish this one was better. This movie I talked about on my podcast Boutique Talk with Tim Talks Talkies, another fellow YouTuber. 12 Angry Men. This movie is a certified classic. If you have not seen it and you're scared to watch black and white movies, this is a prime example of one to kind of dip your toes into, be like, hey, black and white movies aren't so bad, people. Panning it over here, we talked about how I love special features giving you bonus movies. This has the 1955 TV version. This is just a Blu-ray release. Kino Lorber got the 4K rights for this classic. I will pick that sucker up even though I own this Blu-ray, because that release has the 90s remake of this movie directed by William Friedkin, which I have seen a lot of Friedkin's work. I have not seen that movie. On the inside here, you get the disc artwork, 12 Angry Men, and we also get a booklet here. Let's see if I can flip it out. We do. We get the chapters on the inside of this one. Just read, but I will flip through a couple just to see the artwork. That looks great. All of this artwork, again, is the one that's used on the front here. But if you have not seen 12 Angry Men, highest of recommendations from me. This next movie holds a soft spot in my heart. During college, I took a film theory class on Alfred Hitchcock and remakes. It was kind of split in between, like halfway through the semester. I watched this film, The 39 Steps, fell in love with it, fell in love with Alfred Hitchcock in general. And the remake that we watched to kind of like blend the genres together, or blend the subject matter, was The Man Who Knew Too Much, and then the remake of The Man Who Knew Too Much. This movie is great. Another black and white movie that if you haven't seen, you should. It holds up to this day. I like seeing a documentary in there, a British documentary talking about Alfred Hitchcock's previous pre-war career, which sounds very interesting. I have not seen this edition yet. The only time I watched it was in film theory class. Here's what the disc artwork looks like and the booklet. I kind of want to pop everything out just to show you what the inside looks like. So I will. That's a very nice shot with, again, the chapters in there as well. And here is the booklet, front and back. And if I thumb through, you can kind of see some of the content that is inside of this book. Oh God, I dropped it as well. That's a pretty picture, thank goodness. Next, we have a movie that has been a big blind spot for me. And this movie has been in my collection forever. I need to finally watch The 400 Blows. I don't have anything to say about it for a reason. I just know it's a classic, and it's got to be a classic for a reason. There are all of the special features in here. Pan it around. We have the black and white of The 400 Blows. You can kind of see the 400 on the discs there. There's the book. And there is no artwork to speak of on the inside. The booklet is also another fold-out one. At least this isn't as obnoxious of a fold-out. It's still kind of obnoxious. It still does not need to be this way. I wish it was a book, but there that is. Here's another movie I talked about on my podcast Boutique Talk, this time with KB Loves Movies, Martin Scorsese's After Hours. I feel the need to rewatch this movie more often ever since I watched it for the first time for the podcast, just because I feel like one watch of this movie is definitely not enough. There are a lot of interpretations you can take from this film. This film is an entire vibe, just like kind of hanging out in the middle of the night, you know, kind of after hours. If you understand that terminology, you kind of know what kind of shenanigans people will get into on a kind of a nice time out. There's a picture, isn't there? There's the disc artwork. I like to keep the director approved, especially on the 4Ks, inside of my case when there's blank space. I kept the receipt in there as well. And here is some of the signage that is hung up everywhere. A very funny scene from the movie, Help I Hate This Job. Some nice artwork on this sucker, but again, another fold out for me. This will probably be the last time I fold this sucker out, because I can just look at the front and back, and that's the highlight of this booklet for me. From one Scorsese to another, here's one that I have not watched yet, The Age of Innocence. If I remember correctly, this is kind of a Victorian style movie. I honestly don't remember, and I don't know too much about this. I found this movie used, and it was very, very cheap, but I see that there's a documentary on the making of the film. Love seeing that. And again, Scorsese is one of my favorite directors. I will watch this one of these days. Maybe the inside is where I kind of thought it was like Victorian era, 1920s era, if you will. Let's see if I can get this sucker out of here, because of all the, geez, here we go. Of all the different fancy ballroom people, just, you know, not 1000% my vibe, but I guess I shouldn't judge a book by its cover. I love Daniel Day-Lewis. Again, an actor that I haven't seen a lot of his work either, but the movies that I have adored. I need to check this one out. This next movie is probably the highest profile film from this director I have not seen yet in his filmography. Barry Lyndon by Stanley Kubrick. Remember what I told you with The Age of Innocence about just kind of that era not really vibing with me? That's the main reason why I haven't watched this movie, because it takes place all in that era. A ton of special features with this release as well, panning it around. Love the artwork they use on the discs. The booklet is right here. I'm hoping you guys like me looking at these booklets, because I sure don't like to flip through a lot of them. I'm never going to read about them. It's kind of interesting that there's something about the transfer in this. That's kind of nice. I don't think there's a 4K of Barry Lyndon yet either. Come on, Criterion, get on that. So thinking back on it very quickly, this might have been the first Criterion release I ever bought. Being John Malkovich. Spike Jonze is one of my favorite directors, has been ever since I've seen Being John Malkovich. Love this movie so much. It's just so quirky, so unique. Here are all the special features on this sucker. And finally, about halfway through this video, I've kind of figured out a new way to go about this. Here is the disc and the inside artwork. And I have already pulled the book out, so you don't see me fumbling around with it forever. Love how simplistic the artwork is. I love how novel of a concept this script is. And if you have not seen Being John Malkovich, you are in for one wild ride, my friend. I watched this for the first time a couple of years ago, and now there's a 4K, so I'm very tempted to pick up Blood Simple. I think this movie is very solid, especially for it being the first film from Joel and Ethan Coen. Awesome right out of the gate. Again, I've seen the majority of their filmography. This is very strong, and you can tell just from some of like the camera shots, the cinematography from this movie, how it pops. They just had so much character from the jump. Here is the booklet, the back, the front, and again, like Criterion strikes it out of the park with their movies and their releases. This is one that I could watch over and over again and not be disappointed in. I watched my first Terry Gilliam film for the first time this year with 12 Monkeys. I've had this in the collection for a very long time. Brazil. I've heard from a couple of my friends that I need to watch this immediately. It's life-changing material is what one of my friends said. I know I need to. There's a documentary on this as well. Very cool. Makes me even more intrigued to watch it. Give me some bonus material to watch after I'm done. Here is the inside. This looks very stylized already. I can kind of tell, but I don't know what I have in store for this movie at all. There's a winged man in here. I don't know what any of this means. Let me know which one of these movies I should watch first that I haven't seen in the comments, because this is pretty high up on the list for me. I love documentaries, so when I randomly saw Crumb the last time I watched and was looking through the Barnes & Noble Criterion sale, this was an impulse buy. I adore this movie and Robert Crumb and Terry Swigert, who directed Ghost World and I want to say Bad Santa, both very interesting films. He has a touch to kind of like gather characters and doing it in real life with this man who has written a lot of different interesting comic strips. Very cool to say the least. Here is the inside. I can't show you every piece of artwork in this sucker. I can show you what the booklet is supposed to look like, a talent test, but there's some nudity in this. I think if you open up the first page, there is. It's cool that Mickey Mouse is kind of represented in here. Okay, this one has a pasty, so I can watch this, but there is a Mickey Mouse right there. I don't think I can show the fold out. I think I showed a little bit too much there to begin with. Hopefully not enough. But here is the arcade right there. Awesome artwork. I love this dude's art style. It just absolutely pops. And if you're a fan of character pieces, specifically in documentary form, give Crumb a shot. We talked a little bit about David Fincher earlier, and here's one of his hidden gems in his filmography, The Game. This takes you for a ride. You try to figure out what the heck is going on, and unfortunately for me, I kind of figured out pretty early what was happening. So for me, the movie wasn't as impactful as what I was hoping for it to be. This makes me hopeful, though, having a couple of Finchers in the Criterion collection, that one day The Killer will get the Criterion 4K treatment. I don't think that movie gets the love that it deserves, and I would love to see that in the Criterion with some of his other filmography. So, we just got done talking about Crumb. Here's another Terry Swigert directed film, Ghost World. Zwigoff, however you say his name. He definitely has a unique eye behind the camera. Ghost World is a very, very fun film if you have not seen it. I think it's only for a select few, the weirdies out there, I guess. I am one of those weirdies. I love the bonus content that's in here, the physical goodies. We got 8-Ball right here. Open this sucker up, nice little comic book. And then we have another booklet as well, talking more, sorry about that, about, that's a graphic, is it not? About some of the making of stuff. Man, I feel like I need to rewatch this film. Just looking at all the illustrations makes me want to do so. Remember when I said I was a sucker for documentaries too? This was a complete blind buy because I found this used. The Rolling Stones, Gimme Shelter. I'm much more of a Beatles fan than I am a Rolling Stones fan, if that says anything about myself. I don't really know too many of Rolling Stones songs, but again, a music doc is always good by me, and as you can see, I put the sticker of where I bought it and how much I bought it for in there. $14.99 is a blind buy sweet spot for me, especially for a Criterion, because normally during the sales you can get them for $20. So if I can ever get them for cheaper than that, I'm gonna throw them into the collection pronto. Here's another Criterion, one of the first that I added to the collection, Harold and Maude. This is a very, very dark comedy. I don't know if the hanging man right there kind of gives that away or not. It's been a very long time since I've seen this movie, but it's one that still like sticks with you just because of how bizarre the love interests are in this movie, I guess. The inside is very, very simplistic, but it pops, so I can't be too upset at that. Here's the inside. This is still kind of risque to this day. So for this to come out in 71, very, very ballsy, and I love it for that. There's the book. Again, another one I want to rewatch. The next couple I have to show are blind buys. I bought this one strictly because on the sticker right there, $12.99. House of Games, David Mamet directed film. Don't know anything about this. Don't even know who is in this movie. Joey Pants, Joey Mantley, Joey, nope, that's not Joey, that's not the right Joey I was thinking of. Again, remember when I said I didn't know anything about this movie? There is a prime example of that. Here's the book of the movie I don't know anything about. If anybody has seen House of Games, let me know what it's about in the comments, please. This next blind spot movie I have heard pretty terrible things about. One of the worst movies in the Criterion collection, but it looks so colorful and poppy. How can that be? It's Jellyfish Eyes. My youngest is actually like really into anime. I know this isn't animated, but you look at the inside and you see some of like the characters and whatnot. I don't know, maybe this is up her alley. Maybe she would enjoy this. I mean, how can this be bad? There's so much originality in some of like the creatures that I'm seeing here. I just don't know. I'm intrigued. This next one is a Stanley Kubrick that I have seen and that I absolutely love. This is The Killing. It's a heist film. If that mask looks familiar to you, The Dark Knight takes a lot of resemblance to that mask right there. I like this film so much. It's kind of like one of the earliest examples of a heist film that I've personally seen. I can't say enough good things about this. There are a couple of like one shots in this as well that took my breath away. Stanley Kubrick, man, every time I watch one of his films, especially for the first time, they always just feel so good. They leave my jaw dropped, and I love this film. I love it. I am 95% sure I found this at a Goodwill, so I could not pass it up. Me and you and everyone we know, I don't know anything about this movie. 2005. I don't even know what genre it is or anything. I don't want to read this with you. I will read it later on my own time. Probably should have read it before I started filming this, but my camera's almost out of battery. So I will just show you this stuff, and I have no idea what this is about. Here's another one I'm kind of conflicted about opening because I have the Second Sight Films 4K release. This is a Martin Scorsese. Love it. I mean, this movie is great. It's Mean Streets, Robert De Niro. I just opened up the Second Sight one before I had the chance to open up the Criterion one, but I bought this one earlier. I don't know. I like having it in the Criterion collection, but I don't know if I need to open it. Is that weird? Out of all the unseen movies I have in my Criterion collection, this is the one that I get the most crap for online. Memories of Murder. I know I need to see it. That's why I own it. Okay. I can't remember where I found this one. I can't remember if this was a blind buy that I'm like, I just need to have this in the collection and buy it already. Documentary about the making of. That's a good sign. The guy who directed Parasite directed this movie as well, Bong Joon-ho. I don't know anything about this one either, but I feel like that's a good thing with this movie. I've heard the less you know about it, the better, but you just need to actually like watch it. And I know I need to do that. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say, but I feel like this should be the first one I watch. But now we're going from a movie that I get crap for not seeing to a movie that I'm going to give you crap for not seeing. Minding the Gap. If you are a fan of the movie mid-90s directed by Jonah Hill, this gives off that exact same vibe, except this is a documentary. I like this movie better than mid-90s. They're both phenomenal films. They both came out the same year. If you are a fan of mid-90s, you will not be disappointed with Minding the Gap. And I want to say, before you buy it, if you don't want to blind buy it, this was streaming on Hulu when it originally came out. That is how I saw it, but I loved it so much, I needed to own it physically. It's another one of these accordion booklets. Not a fan of the booklet. Huge fan of this movie, though. Every time I talk about this movie, I feel the need to watch more of his films. I absolutely love Charlie Chaplin in modern times. This movie, if you're scared of black and white movies, if you're scared of silent movies, this is a perfect movie to kind of get you out of that mode. This still feels like it makes sense and is connects with today's audience like no other. Like getting worked to death, working a 9-to-5 job that you do not like, the kind of working man grind. Charlie Chaplin does cocaine in this movie. There's just a lot going on here, and I think more people need to see it. I love this movie. We all know war is hell, and I feel like hell for not seeing this movie. A Kubrick blind spot once again. Paths of Glory. It's Kubrick. I know I'm gonna like it. I need to just watch it. It's less than 90 minutes. I have no excuse for not seeing this movie already. The more I talk, the more I just feel bad about not seeing this movie. I really need to see this movie. I love me some Martin Scorsese, and this is one of his best, if not his best. Raging Bull in glorious 4K. Some of my favorite 4K content is animated films and black and white films. The most colorful and no color whatsoever. Both absolutely pop off the screen like crazy. Here's a shot of the discs here. There is just Robert De Niro in the corner of a ring, so I'm not going to take the discs out. If you have not seen Raging Bull, this is the pinnacle example of if you're being afraid to watch a black and white film, you have to. You have to give Raging Bull a shot. I have not seen this movie, because I hear it's not the greatest. Rosemary's Baby, when Paramount Scares Volume 1 came out, I have this movie in Blu-ray on Criterion and in 4K, and I keep on hearing that it's very slow and it has not aged the best. This is pretty low on my watch pile, if I do say so myself. Here's the booklet. Am I crazy? Do I need to give this a watch? Is this a classic for a reason? I've heard of Rosemary's Baby. I thought I heard people liking it, but a backlash when the 4K came out has definitely given me less reason to finally watch it. I found this movie Stagecoach used for $14.99. I have heard phenomenal things about this, but Westerns, probably the genre I have seen the least from. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I should like them. I like a handful, but I feel like once you've seen one Western, you've seen the majority of them. I don't know. Oh God, I dropped it. I don't know. Is that just me? I guess the same thing about Westerns can be said about war films, even though I've seen way more war films than I have Westerns. I have not seen The Thin Red Line though. Terrence Malick is... I've seen a handful. I've seen 2 of his movies, if I'm being honest, and they have not been my cup of tea. I am nervous to watch The Thin Red Line because of that, even though I feel like I should. I feel like out of anything in his filmography, a war film should be up my alley. Tree of Life, I could not stand. And House of Cups, I want to say, is that the Christian Bale movie. That wasn't great either. I don't know. Is this movie any good? I found this one used once again for $13.99. Tiny Furniture. I was a fan of the show Girls, and I have not seen any other content that Lena Dunham has made. So I have this movie, again, another one that I need to watch, but that's why I have it in the Criterion collection. Blind watches are usually the most rewarding with this boutique label. Again, just another one I need to give a shot to. Traffic is one I have seen, but it's one that I haven't seen in a very, very long time, close to when it originally came out. Probably one of, besides the Oceans movies, Steven Soderbergh's like most well-known movie. If you don't know Steven Soderbergh, you have still at least heard of Traffic, one of his most mainstream movies. But again, I need to give this sucker a rewatch pronto. And last but not least, we have a movie I haven't seen. I hate ending this way, but The Vanishing, have not seen it. This was another used buy, very, very blind buy for me. Have no idea what this one is about as well. But I mean, man, here are all of my standard release Criterion movies, and don't they just absolutely look phenomenal all together with those C's just stacking on top of the Criterion Collection banner, and then you have Benjamin Button just sticking out like a sore thumb. But God, those look so good. So, I was editing this film and I totally forgot to go over all of my DVDs and all of my laser discs as well. I'm gonna go through these very, very quickly because there are some in both camps that are very surprising to have Criterion collections. Some have not been upgraded from these formats here. So let's get started. The first one that I don't see anytime coming on Blu-ray or 4K from Criterion Collection, Chasing Amy. Definitely of its time. I liked it a lot more when I first watched it, more than what I did when I watched it a couple of years ago. I don't think this one holds up as much as my brain remembered liking it. Still pretty okay film, just nothing really special about it anymore. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. They have this on Blu-ray, they have this on 4K. I still have the Criterion DVD edition because I have this movie on 4K in different formats. And as long as I have the special features on here, I don't know if they've added anything new special features wise on here. Let's see here. Can you read this better? You probably can't. It was hard to read those special features when the thing was in the disc. You probably can't even read that either, Jesus. But I do like the artwork on this release very much. And I gotta put it in this way. One thing that bugs me is that this is the way you have to put it on your shelf. I would like to put it this way so there's no plastic, but you gotta put it this way because this is where the main characters are on here. There's Fear and Loathing. Next up, number 13 in the Criterion Collection, we have The Silence of the Lambs. Very, very cool to see this in the Criterion Collection. But again, this got the 4K from Kino. This is never going to come out from Criterion ever again. It's just kind of cool and of its time, of its era. Very happy to add this one, or have this one in the collection. I've had this one for a few years. The discs are falling out. That's how long I've had this sucker for. I guess I can show off the disc artwork if it's like good enough for it. Just those Hannibal Lecter eyes, man. Super creepy. Michael Bay. Let's get into the Criterion Michael Bay era, because it was fun. It was a ride. The better of the two Michael Bay films that has made it into the Criterion collection. I don't even have the number. It's covered up by Hollywood Video stickers. This is how I bought these when the Hollywood Video I worked at went out of business. This is how I learned what Criterion collections were. They had a whole section I would just go through. I made sure to pick this copy up because this is a fun action film. I love and adore this film, and I love that I got the Criterion treatment too. Absolutely crazy. The second disc is fully of special features, which I love. There's even a whole documentary about Alcatraz on here, which is very very cool. But yeah, I paused it. I hope you are able to read it that way. I know I've got my phone the different way. There's no glare. There we go. Let's go back to back Michael Bay's. You might as well, because this one just sticks out like a sore thumb. How did Armageddon get a Criterion collection treatment? That makes no sense to me. Special features on here are, I've seen a couple of them, like the Michael Bay gag reel is what it is. The commentary with Ben Affleck, he just craps on the whole concept of this movie. Worth buying this secondhand just on its own. I'm not a big commentary guy, but that one is pretty dang enjoyable. Let's see here. Should we rush through a couple of Wes Andersons too? These are ones that I need to upgrade to Blu-ray. I just have not yet. We have the Royal Tenenbaums. I love the slipcover on this sucker, and then I love the artwork that's underneath it. I'll just show this artwork off very, very quickly. But yeah, Royal Tenenbaums, maybe second or third favorite Wes Anderson. His earlier stuff is my favorite stuff of his. My favorite though is Rushmore. Absolutely love Rushmore. His second film he ever did. I think it's the strongest. I cannot say enough kind words about this movie, which is why I need to get it on Blu-ray, one of these Criterion sales. And again, this is another one that I picked up from Hollywood Video. It's even got like the rental cases on it, so you open it up, boom, boom. Oh God, remember rental cases? They're just, I don't know, there's something about the way that they're housed. Just that nostalgia just keeps on coming every time you crack one open. Another one from the Hollywood Video days. Do the Right Thing. Again, this got a 4K from the studio that released at Universal. This got a very cool 4K steelbook. Artwork on that is phenomenal. But yeah, again, Do the Right Thing makes a lot of sense for this to be in the Criterion collection. And again, another disc full of special features on this sucker. I'm hoping you can read it right there. But yeah, very, very cool to see. And if you've never seen the music video of Fight the Power, love it. It's good stuff. I'm gonna run through the rest of these really quick and then end with a bang. We have Rita Hayworth in Gilda. We have Truman Capote's In Cold Blood. We have Jabberwocky. I actually found this at a Goodwill, and it's like a library copy that they had. Terry Gilliam, I still need to watch more of his filmography. Same with Richard Linklater. I like every single movie that he's made. I've never seen Slacker. This is like the one that he got famous for. So I know that I need to watch this. And I want to say this was filmed on kind of like a lower quality camera, so it's not going to matter if I watch it on the DVD format or not. The Day Trippers, right here. And the last DVD that I have to show off is Hoop Dreams. This documentary is amazing. I am a sucker for a documentary. If you've never seen it, I don't think it matters if you like the game of basketball or not with this one. It's about the human relations that are made and people trying to make better lives for themselves. It's relatable to everybody, you know, or for most people. So yeah, definitely recommend that one as well. But the last format I wanted to show you for Criterion is Laserdiscs, and I just recently got started collecting Laserdiscs a couple of years ago. I have a player, it's very fun to watch. I have not popped any of these in, and I feel like I need to, because a lot of these you cannot get on any other format. Here's Sling Blade, excuse me. Sling Blade, yeah, French fried potatoes. Very cool to see this sucker get a Criterion release. And I want to say, yeah, it's got a gatefold as well. Gatefold is not great looking on the inside, so I won't even attempt to show you guys. But again, it's a double Laserdisc release. Not a lot of special features, but again, Laserdiscs are the thing that started the special features. I want to say King Kong Criterion Collection number 2 is the first special feature ever made, which is very, very cool to say. I want to have that in the collection just to say that I have it. This one has a commentary by Billy Bob Thornton. Ooh, the documentary about the making of Sling Blade. Ooh, that makes me want to pop this in. Mr. Thornton Goes to Hollywood. Okay. Now you have my attention, Criterion. Even though this release is so old, I still want to see it because there's a bonus movie in that movie. Very, very cool. Next one up, Lawrence of Arabia. This is a movie that I have on 3 different formats. I haven't seen it once, and I know I need to. I hear nothing but great things about this movie. I just need to go ahead and watch it already. I can show you the gatefold on this one. That looks mighty nice. Does not. The runtime scares me on Lawrence of Arabia, if I'm being honest. The runtime. This thing is a monster, dude. 217 minutes. That's the main reason why I haven't seen it. I know I need to one of these days, though. Maybe one time I take like a week off and don't go anywhere. Or never mind. I'm not taking a Laserdisc player to any vacation I go to. But yeah, one of these days, Lawrence of Arabia will be watched. Next one, The Blade Runner. Look at that, Mr. Harrison Ford. Yes, I mean, it's a sci-fi classic. Very, very cool. It's in the collection. This is number 19 in the collection. So yes, very, very early on in its run. We have Blade Runner right here. Here are all of the bonus special features. I'm hoping you can see it. Here is the gatefold on the inside of Blade Runner. And while you're looking at that, it looks like for special features on this one, a collection of original illustrations from Sid Mead, fans notes, and Videoscope. The Criterion Collection is proud to present Blade Runner in its original widescreen format. I love how they show that as a special feature because nobody wanted that stuff back when your TV was the size of a square instead of a rectangle. People didn't like the letterbox look or anything like that. But if you had a projector, hook the sucker up, it's like you're in the movie theater. Next one we have The Producers, number 36 in the Criterion Collection. Gene Wilder classic, Mel Brooks classic. If you have not seen this, highly, highly recommend. Very risque of Criterion on the image there. I'm not even going to zoom in that much, but yes, Producers, if you haven't seen it, highest of recommendations. Only special feature on here is the theatrical trailer. But I feel like I need to give that one a rewatch. It's been a very long time since I have. We got some Cronenberg, people. David Cronenberg's Crash, number 349. They were still making Laserdisc copies well into the hundreds for Criterion right here. Again, this is new to me collecting for Criterion for Laserdiscs. I don't know how far they got into it at all. It's still cool. Cool to see, cool to look at, cool to research. All of that fun jazz. Special features, there's trailers, behind the scenes footage. That is about it. No documentaries or anything. It is cool that there was a making of documentary in the Sling Blade. Really makes me want to dig into it. But the last one, the one that I'm like, wow, this got a Criterion release? That is nuts. The Wizard of Frickin' Oz. Isn't that cool? I love that this got a Criterion release. Of course it needs it. Who doesn't love The Wizard of Oz? It's a timeless classic, and it's just cool that it is in the collection forever. Special features wise, actually I'll show you the inside. This was bought brand new at Barks, whatever store that is. Barks for $10. Got those ruby red slippers. There's an audio commentary. Composer Harold Arlen's home movies featuring behind the scenes footage. Very, very cool. If I Only Had a Brain dance sequence. Okay. MGM promotional shorts and interviews with the Lollipop Guild. Very, very cool stuff. Love it. But yes, now that is every Criterion movie that I have in the collection. I don't know how many that is. I'll count it. I'll throw it up there because I'm curious. Let's look. And thank you again for watching. Let's go to the outro now because I already filmed that. I just had to fit this in here. Bye-bye. So there you have it. That was every single Criterion movie that I personally have. But I'm adding more. I'm adding more very, very soon. I'm gonna shop for more this week. I liked showing all of these off and it made me want to add more, just showcasing everything that I have because they look so good together. All the ones that I showed that I have seen are movies that I absolutely adore. And the blind ones that I have, the ones I have not seen, my blind buys, just makes me want to watch them that much sooner. Maybe I'll pick up some movies that I love. Risky Business comes out pretty soon. That one I'm definitely picking up. Maybe I'll do some more blind buys to add to the pile. That's kind of fun for a collector as well. But I had fun showcasing every Criterion that I had. Again, if you want to see more full collections of boutique labels that I have, let me know in the comments. And until next time, I'll see ya.